So girls, welcome to the fine dining class here. And as I told you, we see a whole lot of things in front of us. So please don't panic when you see all of this in front of you. You're going to be eating here. We'll take it very simply so that it's simple for you. The plate which is next to you, the quarter plate, the smallest plate, all right? And you'll have a butter knife on that, okay? This is your main course plate. That's your table napkin or your dinner napkin. We have some cutlery with us. Remember, we follow the American style of eating and the continental style of eating. So we are going to follow the continental style of eating. You start eating from outside in. Now when I say outside in, whatever cutlery is placed outside, that course of meal will be served first. Now if you see here, you have a little spoon which is quite rounded up. What is this as? This is a soup spoon. Now do you drink your soup or you eat your soup? We eat our soup. So I'm going to demonstrate once they get me a soup plate. Can I have a soup plate also, please? In. Whatever is placed outside, you will probably pick up that first. So we pick up these two things would be for your salad. Okay? So that's the first thing that you have in your course. And once you're done with your cutlery, it never comes back to the table. It goes back in the plate to be cleared. I will teach you how that is done. Then the next which is closest to your plate would be your dinner spoon and your dinner fork, right? Thoda later. And the dinner knife and the dinner fork, right? So this is what we use mostly for our continental menu. We seldom make use of the spoon. Now coming to the glassware, and yes, you have one fork and a spoon which is placed right in front of your dinner plate. Now that is the dessert spoon or the dessert fork. And the dessert fork is used for any desserts which are cake based, all right? And this spoon is used for mousse or souffle or anything which is liquid. Do not confuse this with your dessert plate. All right, this is your quarter plate, your breads get to be placed here. Now, talking about the glassware, this is your champagne flute. These are stems. Always remember, the correct way of holding the glassware is like this. We don't hold the glass like this or the goblet like this. That's incorrect. So we hold the goblet like this. This is your water glass. Then we have two more goblets here as the white wine and the red wine. So it depends what you want to call for and what you want to have at the same point of time. Am I clear about all this? Now I'm going to be teaching you how to get inside your chair to be seated and how to get out of your chair. And what are the few things that you need to note while you are sitting. Now always remember, we never make too much of noise in the dining area. We quietly lift the chair and put it back. Usually men are supposed to escort you, but here we have a beauty pageant only for women, so there's nobody around. And left hand side, and the first thing that you need to do is arrange yourself properly, place yourself comfortably so that you're ready to eat, okay? The soup spoon is supposed to be kept like this, and you're supposed to eat your soup like this. You take it, you put the extra spills outside the plate, that is to the edge of the brim of the plate, and then it comes to you. From the side, you eat your soup. You don't do this with the soup spoon, all right? And you don't even do this. This is incorrect way of having your soup. You always take soup from inside out and then it comes to you, all right? So you would like to rest in between. Remember, your arms, your elbows don't come on the table. Only your wrist, otherwise your wrists are in your lap. All right, you would like to talk left or right. We never talk across the table. Is that clear? Once you're done with this, you can close your plate for the wait staff to know that they can clear this. Can you please take this for me? Thank you. So once your soup is finished, you know that something would be served to you, either a salad maybe, or salad could be served prior to this also. So as I said, anything which is outside comes first in the hands, right? So you have your salad fork and your salad knife with you right away here. So this is the right way of holding, girls. You must remember If you want to practice with me, you can even do that. This is the right way of holding your fork and knife. Alright? Please don't hold it like that. Your index finger is supposed to rest and the rest of the fingers are supposed to grip it up. Am I clear? No, that's the incorrect way of how you're holding it. This. The index finger comes like that. Am I clear? Alright. So whenever we're eating something, your knife is supposed to just cut things and the fork is supposed to dig in and you're supposed to eat. And while you're eating with a fork, now this is your continental or European style of eating. What is the difference between European style of eating and American? Now the Americans, what they do, they cut and they switch hands. They switch hands to the right hand side. But we as Indians follow the easier way out always. So we don't switch hands, we just eat with the fork most of the time. Now in between your rests, when you want the wait staff to serve you something or you're taking rest, your fork will be in a crossed position. This you will close your plate to be here. Right? This is not a same plate or a salad plate prior to this. So this is also gone. Remember that. Now comes your main course meal. Remember, for Indian curries, you should probably use your spoon and your fork. Alright? So for Indian curries, you can use this. But for your continental menu, you will be using your knife and fork the similar way. So that's kept innermost towards the main course plate. Alright? And the right way of eating is, this usually digs into the food and this helps in cutting. And even the liquids are supposed to be pushed to the prongs of the fork. And that's how you eat and you will rest. If you have to take some breads here, like you have your dinner roll or you have your buns or anything like that, you're supposed to pinch your bun and have it. Please don't take the whole lot of the bun and put it in your mouth. We don't do that. Is that clear? When you're resting in between, you can hold your goblet the way I told you. Be very ladylike when you do this and sip in between. You can make some humble conversations to the left and to the right. Okay? There are certain table etiquettes that you need to know. Food is always passed towards the right hand side. We don't pass food across the table. Supposingly, she wants something, she will ask to the person to the left and I will pass it to the right. If someone wants salt, we do not pass just the salt by itself. Salt and pepper are married to each other. So remember, we always pass salt and pepper together. Is that clear? Yes, if you don't want the wines to be served to you, please don't put your goblets upside down. That's not etiquette. We are supposed to just pass our hand over the goblet so that you say, no, thank you, please. I'm good. Alright? And if you want some more, whenever you see some wait staff, you can ask them to put it for you. Never start putting salt before tasting. It's bad etiquette. Always taste your food first and then ask for the salt. Otherwise, the people who've cooked will feel offended. Alright? Another thing I want to tell you about is closing your plate. Now you close your plate in this position, also on a 420 position. You've seen a clock, alright? So the European style of closing is a 420 position also. So you could do either of these if you want to close your plate. For the dessert, if you get the pudding, as I told you, once this plate is cleared, you will get a dessert plate which is separate. So you can put your liquid or whatever, you can use the fork and the spoon together, or you could use either the fork or the spoon depending on what kind of a dessert has been served to you. Alright, after, yes, another very important thing, in between if you feel like going to the washroom or there's an urgent call. Why I said I want no mobile phones on the table, no clutches, because that's against etiquette. You do not place anything on the table, right? Nothing on the table. Everything is placed in your chair, your clutch, your mobile phone. We are not President Obama that we need to take a call always. Remember, everything else can wait. So there's nothing except for food and beverages on the table. And in between, if you have to take a break, what you do, where do you leave your napkin and go? Where? Yes, Very good. You don't leave the napkin back unless you've eaten. You leave it back on your chair and you excuse yourself from the right hand side. And once you're done with everything, you again fold your napkin and do not place it in any of the plates, right? You will fold it once you had unfolded it, and if you find space to the right hand side, you could just place it right there. And the way to get out, since he's again put this for me, just put that, is quietly just move your chair at the back. Usually the men has caught this. I have the mic on, so I will try and get out of the chair, and it's still pulling me. And it's from the right hand side. It's okay. Yeah, can come closer so that I can tell them. Usually the men folk pull the chair and push the chair, but since I told you there is no men folk around, please make sure that you push your chair back in place. So that's etiquette. Any doubts that you have as far as eating is concerned, you can ask me right now because we're running out of time. We will continue with this when we have your MIBQ intelligence test. A few things that I told you. Remember BMW. All right, I'll just give you some cues, which means breads, meals and water. So that's how it's supposed to be placed also. Breads, meals and water. The water always comes to your right hand side. Breads come to your left hand side. The meals are right in the center. Do not make too much noise. Don't eat with your mouth open. Don't look into anybody else's plate. Always eat the curry items towards the end. Start with something which is dry so that you don't mess up your plates.